Greetings, dear suckers. My name's Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And welcome back to Disco Elysium, where we finally get to start actually... Shit, what was I doing? Where we finally started examining this guy's body, and now we're gonna perform a field autopsy. Yeah! Now that we've shot his body down, which is a thing that we did.
The rotting man lies on his side, with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy.
Alright then. Sounds... Because apparently us detectives have to do field autopsies. Because this police force is held together by duct tape and hope. No, I doubt they even have access to duct tape. Scotch tape.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
Yeah, but do you know what it is?
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco.
Feel helpful.
But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Why don't you know? What use are you?
You must have me confused with the Copperpedia.
Who's the Copperpedia? I think I need to talk to him.
You, sir. You are the Copperpedia.
Okay. Fair enough. Do you have another pair of gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. I have gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough?
They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things, while you will take notes.
Okay, we just fill this in, right? Show them the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Okay, good. Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Which was it that killed you then? Love or communism? Both, I imagine.
Huh?
You said love killed you, but when you fell down, you said it was communism.
You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in.
Oh, I see. You're saying that communism was the thing that actually killed you, but love is what led you to the point where communism killed you. I see. Some would say that's splitting hairs, but they are merely pretending to be wise.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
Sure. I'll just do that then.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with
1. Assistant.
That's you.
Okay. Initials HDB or Harry Dubois. It's just 2 initials. Or leave it empty. Huh. I wonder if this is important somehow. Alright, that's right. Full name. Why not? Just so I don't forget it again, you know?
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
2. Coroner's case no...
KK57 dash 0803 dot 0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival. 08:15 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
Shouldn't we file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
HDB 41 0803. Help me out with the time of day, anyone? 11:11. It's meaningful.
Okay, then. Sure, why not?
Good. Let's go with that.
Alright.
The lieutenant is quite surprised you managed to come up with an adequate case number.
Oh yeah. I'm full of surprises. To you and to myself. Alright. 3. Name. Good fucking question.
NA. Next.
I thought we were gonna go for John Doe or something, but NA works just as well. Probably better. 4. Date of birth.
NA.
5. Age.
Roughly 50.
Oh, I was expecting another NA.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write about 42.
He nods.
It's a significant number after all. And not just because of its significance to Douglas Adams, but also other things like the works of Lewis Carroll, for instance. Look it up. Anyways, 6. Race.
Mondial.
Mondial. Huh. I don't know what that means.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
Fair enough.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Indeed. It looks like... Well, it looks like death, is what it looks like. Alright, sex. We can at least pretty easily estimate this one.
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Right, fucky, fucky. Right, pigs gonna have sex. What? Excuse you. Let's just write male, alright?
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Keep saying pregnant belly. It doesn't look particularly pregnant to me, to be honest. But alright. Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Alright.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
Alright.
HDB 41 0803.1111 listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
11. Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What do you mean treatment? What does that mean?
A strange word. Treatment.
What exactly is treatment anyway?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Oh, not after the initial examination. Right. Because I was about to say, he's been pretty interfered with.
How did you not know that? Aren't you a cop? You're leaving a weak impression here. Say something sure-handed.
Oh, this ought to go well.
Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
Fair enough. Yes, I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
He placed his hand on the dead man's chest, as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
Seriously though, how the heck do these passive checks work? Whatever.
somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosenkrantz Row. Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed.
What?
Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
Jesus.
We should start the post-mortem.
Yeah, alright. Turn the
The
page.
corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Alright. 1. External examination. Summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Shut up!
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Well, glad you disapprove, because I aim to displease.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are
Indeed.
fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Alright.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Well, I could use every piece of clothing I can get my greasy little hands on. Let's omit the boots, shall we?
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alpha numerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Okay then.
Tattoos.
Indeed. He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini.
Okay. What do you mean from the right shoulder to the heart? It looks like it extends across both shoulders, by my reckoning. But alright.
The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. Sure.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim.
Stroke his hair or stroke his hair gently.
The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand, like thread off a rag doll's head.
Keep petting him.
More hair sticks to your hand.
Where is
Hair
this
off
going?
The rain-soaked head of a dead man. There are bumps and dips on the skull below. An alien landscape. There, dead man. You were someone's child. It's all over now.
There, baby.
The lieutenant watches you in silence.
Yeah. Not sure how anyone would respond to that. Alright, write it down. Short, light brown, male pattern baldness.
That was some sick
Shut up.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
Shut up, or you'll be the one with high velocity in a minute.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
Write down, but amend for high velocity. No,
Ligature mark.
it's not. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. Gonna need a bigger knife.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Alright? Oh yeah, I'm prepared.
The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Good thing we got these chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead.
Indeed.
Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
I will totally fail you now.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
I'm not your pig, Kuno.
You are? You're Kuno's pig?
Concentrate on the belt, not on who is whose pig. There is no pig. There are only the chain cutters and the belt.
Don't try to bend the pig, for that is impossible. Instead, try and realize the truth. There is no pig. Alright then.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Well, this is gonna go horribly. If only I didn't have this massive fucking penalty that's going to be with me for fucking years. Oh well.
You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then
Fuckity fuck.
the lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid.
Rotate some more.
A really, really bad smell is coming from there now, and some kind of cracking sound.
Enough. Cut some.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that buggery. Corpse fucking time.
You're not helping.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
Maybe you
a
should
go
have done
first.
it.
I think I have a strategy.
Yeah, fair. He steps in and takes the chain cutters from you. Yeah, it's probably for the best.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
A flower bouquet. Alright then. I wish my inner monologue wasn't quite so flowery.
Here,
He hands you the chain cutters back and kneels closer to the body, running his finger along the dark red groove, until he comes to a gap.
the rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape.
Good to know, I
An
guess.
oranging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Alright.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
He pulls down the man's underpants.
No! It's gonna happen, see?
I fucking knew it.
You don't know shit.
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Good man.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Inspect the genitals. Is that going to be helpful in any way? Or is it just going to or is it just going to fucking give the peanut gallery more to yell about? Alright, let's look at them, I guess.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Alright then.
Back is
Good to know.
symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
The scarring is extensive, way more than law officials.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item. Hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Sure, why not?
His flesh is cold, icy.
No shit.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from and what's your name?
My name is...
I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is Il Corbo. What can I do you for, Il Corbo de Cappadocia?
It's good to hold your hand. Did you like it when I stroked your hair? This is getting very strange, very quickly.
I did, Kobo. I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy. Before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there.
Okay.
We should do this more often. Be close like this, I mean.
I highly doubt it, but alright.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
That's... Interesting. So it's so that's... decently... Well, that's some evidence, at least, that there wasn't a struggle, which is... Weak evidence against a lynching.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
He turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. Alright, internal examination. Summary.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
He probably has one?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to the story.
Okay, if I may add the moral of this story.
What would that be?
He looks at you inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. No shit.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
The lieutenant grins. Fair enough. Alright, NA.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
And I get why they can't issue us... I get why it would be very expensive to issue us, like, proper fucking armor. They could at least give us, like, gas masks or some such to help with this with dealing with horrible smells and such, and not to mention noxious chemicals and such. Oh well.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
Yes, jacking off generally involves massaging the throat.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Alright.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Alright.
From here, it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming. The tendons of his jaw are torn apart. Hyoid ripped from the force of the lieutenant's hands.
Alright.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Look deeper inside.
It's hard.
Ow.
Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Okay.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
Alright then. The lieutenant repeats impatiently. He lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut before you.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why? Don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. I don't think so.
Neither am I.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay. That's it.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if it was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Alright. Right. NA and add toxicology requested.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Alright.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around, to the ground, the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen, briefly. Write it down. Keep the voila.
What's next on the list?
Alright, description of injuries, summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 feels. Leave a 4th one too.
And what about the injuries we have inflicted?
Oh, so we inflicted them?
This is a team effort.
You mean the incision on the thorax from a chain cutter? That was not a team effort, and I wouldn't mention it. Muddies the water.
But isn't that kind of sloppy?
Be pedantic if you like, it doesn't matter. No one else is going to investigate this man's murder. And if they do, such details would only confuse them.
Alright. Jeez. Okay then.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
The boy nods approvingly.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries.
And wait, what's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Oh, fair enough. Alright, bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. Opinion, fatal injury, I doubt it. Non-fatal, post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Yeah. Unless he had a really wild night. I doubt this had anything to do with his death. Alright, contusion.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
Alright.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
At very low velocity, right?
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes.
Opinion. Fatal injury. Yeah, definitely. Alright, non-fatal. Post-mortem.
Right. Next,
Alright, ligature mark.
a dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact.
Alright.
I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Alright.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
No signs of clawing on the neck. Wait a minute. Interesting. You'd think, like, if someone is being hanged, obviously their impulse would be to, to claw around their neck to try and free themselves. I should know. Why didn't he? I guess it could be that they... I guess it could be that they bound him so that he couldn't, but... First of all... But the first problem with that is that he said that there were no marks on his hands. Secondly, why would his hands not still be bound if they had bound them? Now you might be asking, oh, what if they knocked him out? Well, first of all, that sort of thing doesn't work nearly as well as it does in movies and video games and such. You'd have to do some serious damage to their brain to knock them out for more than just a very brief moment of unconsciousness. And if they had done that, there would be very obvious marks. Now, I guess they could have used something like chloroform or tranquilizers or some such. But first of all, why would they bother if this is a lynching, after all? Second of all, chloroform takes way longer than you'd think to knock someone out, so there would be signs of a struggle, and tranquilizers might not leave a visible mark, but again, why would they bother? All of this is to say that there's absolutely no way this is an ordinary lynching, which I kind of already suspected. So it seems entirely premature to claim that the hanging itself was actually the cause of death.
He is deep in thought, eyes fixed on the bright red ring around the dead man's neck.
Bright red ring. Something about that seems important. I can't for the life of me say why.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious. I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this, I would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows.
Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being.
Yeah. Agreed.
Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
Alright. Sweet. And another level up. And most of the way to another. Nice. First, how did it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success.
Yeah, I mean, if it gives us any additional information, then that's a success, isn't it?
We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath.
Yeah, alright. What else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries, too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Alright, what now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg
Alright. Here you go.
for processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
He's thinking, did I miss something?
Probably.
I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Let me just...
The man is the lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Jeez. The odds are pretty fucking terrible. Although they're not quite as bad as they possibly could be. I could always try it. Then put a point into perception. Then try it again. It's not like I don't want to be putting points into perception. I mean, it's got a high fucking cap and everything. Do I have any items which increase perception? Probably not. But do I have any that decrease it? Alright, you know what? Let's try it.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a
Fuck
deep
it.
breath.
Let's go.
Your arms reach
Holy
out to
fucking
eyes
shit.
close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
What are the fucking odds of that? Well, higher than they actually looked, considering I was planning on re-rolling it anyways, but... Alright then. What is this?
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
Also, the fact that I got a +1 to that check, which is the whole reason why I succeeded, because I didn't establish a cause of death, is certainly a good fucking sign. Crawl up his nostrils? Excuse you?
They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in.
Huh. Okay then, push your fingers in his nose. Why not?
Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage.
That could.
The fuck is he doing?
You hear a voice squeak. It sounds very far away. Is there something up here?
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider.
Okay then. Put your fingers in his mouth. Maybe.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track.
Alright. That's a good fucking sign. Play with it. This feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums. And in the back of the mouth.
In the back of the mouth?
Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
Open your eyes and look.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate.
Yes, yes.
You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened.
A hole? A hole? Hang on a second. Darkened edges and everything? That sounds like... That kinda sounds like an abrasion ring. Did they... They shot him in the mouth, didn't they? But those rat bastards! Shot in the mouth with something with sufficiently low power or sufficiently great distance so as not to leave an exit wound. God fucking damn it. We would have completely fucking missed this, wouldn't we? Shit. And this is why you need proper fucking medical professionals doing these autopsies. They wouldn't have missed that. There, but for the grace of whatever, go I.
An abrasion collar.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar. Also known as an abrasion ring and a... abrasion rim. That's what else.
Abrasion collar.
The lieutenant looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper.
Kuno is silent.
Yeah. Good. Looks like there's something that can shut him up. Here we go.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Alright.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
Yep, right into his brainstem, killing him probably instantly.
The fuck is happening?
Detective work, that's what.
Ah, shit, see?
Yes, that's what this part is called.
Alright, feel around first, sure.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex.
Reptilian complex. That's such a silly naming scheme.
This man will never sleep again. Never wake.
No shit.
Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. The ululations of the limbic system have ended. All is quiet.
Right. I probably should have equipped those gloves first, but oh well. There's a cavity right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Kuno's voice is hushed.
Quivering with awe.
What? Does he think that I'm going to fuck his brain or something?
Your fingers are all the way in now,
Not
reaching
today.
toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wriggle in.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger.
Yes. Yes.
Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin.
I feel a solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
He searches his pocket for something. Inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack. A protrusion in the cranium. Right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it. From the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Alright.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
I swear, if we succeeded that 8% check only to fail a 72% check because we didn't fucking equip the damn gloves. Nope. Easy peasy. Just barely success. Naturally.
You pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
I got it.
My pig's fucking got it?
He's watching his old man get the big prize at the claw game.
Well, watch and learn.
What? What is it?
Prepare to be amazed. Slowly pull your fingers out. You know, leave them in suspense dramatically. Before...
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers.
And for my next trick...
With a plop,
Voila!
your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
Behold, our prize.
Fucking beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the veal.
A bullet.
The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-calibre. Rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Fucking A. Keep it, Lieutenant, as a gift.
No, you deserve it. We can log it later.
Alright. The lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hand. It feels light. Was it good for you too, N.A.?
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth.
I think we can probably assume that this was the fatal wound.
High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds like heaven. That's a bit grim. Yeah, sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
You're goddamn right, Kim.
And one last thing.
Oh.
We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
he's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Quite. The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Dead daba-doop. Daba-doop-doop. Truly I have a way with words.
Deadady-dead-dead.
And so does Kim. Alright. Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation.
Yeah. I believe I mentioned something along those lines too. Yeah, I think it was around that time when we were examining the tracks that I first really started to smell a setup here. Seems you are of the same opinion then, from around the same time. Glad to see we're so in sync, so to speak. You're a damn good detective, Kim.
There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
Quite. Always a good time foiling villains, foiling criminals. Even before you've actually caught them. And for all we know, the people that... the perpetrators who tried to conceal it were different people from whoever killed him. In fact, that seems fairly likely at this point. Maybe the Union trying to take credit for it, or maybe certain parts of the Union trying to cover for other parts, or something along those lines. So in that case, we're foiling two sets of criminals in one fell swoop. You love to see it.
We didn't fall for it, he thinks. There's pride in there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fucking pride in there.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
True. That's a good point. Maybe they shot him while they hanged him? That's a pretty fucking sketchy theory, but it deserves to be said. I suppose.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily.
Yeah, good
I
point.
may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me.
Agreed. Alright. Can you think of who would do this?
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Yeah, alright. Why would anyone do this? What do you think?
To hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here?
Quite. I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
You reek of death. I kind of reeked of death when I woke up this morning, but this is a different sort of reek. Maybe the bullet holds more answers?
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
Quite.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
No shit. What happens next?
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport.
Alright.
I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem.
All right.
One more thing. This was really good work, detective.
You know it.
The word lingers in the air of the yard. As far away dogs are barking, further yet the sound of motor traffic.
And you know what? I can say the same for you, Kim. Good fucking job.
Detective.
Yeah. Regardless of whatever else I might find out, whatever else might be in my past, whatever other strange things I find or remember, that is who I am. A detective. I may not remember that I was, but here and now I have proven that I am. Okay, before we do anything, let's save all of that. Don't want to lose any of that due to clicking the wrong option or something. And screwing everything up. Here we go. Fractured bullet. The bullet mushroomed out on impact. It now looks more like a fanciful jacket button than something that could pierce skin, flesh, and bone. Indeed. Well, we managed to thread the needle there and learned everything Important anyways. And we got a total of 3 more skill points to use. Still have no idea what to use them on, though. Maybe perception. Represent our incredible leaps of perception. Yeah. You know what? Let's put 2 points into perception. Perception just seems like a really fucking useful skill to have, I'll be honest. For a detective, you know. I mean, a lot of these do, to be honest, but... Yeah, I got it. Oop. Yeah. And since I have that one thing which greatly increases the cap, what was it from? Yeah, Lonesome Long Way Home. Might as well get some use out of that, although I'm technically still not getting use out of that, considering I've only got 2, but, you know. I guess I could put 1 more point into it. Never mind that for now. Whew. Alright then. Well.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
It's mentioned that I probably won't be able to remove the guy's boots with Kim around for obvious reasons. And this will yeah, you're faced with the corpse. That'll probably make me lose my chance to get them entirely. Not to mention get the sweet XP bonus that'll probably come from completing the quest. So, I'll leave it there for now. I'm not certain. I've got to figure a way of getting rid of that guy. Maybe I could, if I can get some more cash, I could retire for the night. Maybe he'd retire too, and then maybe I could sneak out while he's, I don't know, something like that. Plus, I still need to speak to that representative. Maybe she'll give me some useful information that might lead to me having to examine it further. I don't know, but at least we'll be sure. But hey, regardless of anything else, we did a good fucking job here today. Today, I was a goddamn detective. So, until next time, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. Fuck you all so much for watching, and so long, suckers.
You're gonna be okay, kid.